for what that's worth.
Wow, that sounds like it's 7th grade.
Look, if you came to me and said, look, I didn't get last night's homework done, but I had a really nice time carving pumpkins with my family, I would be like, awesome, what'd you carve into your pumpkin? I wouldn't yell at you. Right? I would just be like, just get it to me when it's done. So I will try to get you your blue sheets either while you're in language arts, because I don't teach anybody right after you, and I can very quickly finish it and copy it, or if that doesn't happen, or if you're too busy in LA for me to interrupt, come get it at AO. I'll have them where the blue sheets normally live. If you don't have AO, come get it at reading. The first 3 homeworks from this week, so 311, 312, 321, we're going to turn in tomorrow. Right? So a homework assigned on Wednesday can be collected on Friday. So if you don't have those done, please get them done. Not right this moment, but sure, like at the end of class you could. Do you have breakfast or not, Molly? Are you good? You have food now? Okay, sweet. I want to make sure you eat. All right, so today we are connecting addition and subtraction. So sorry, I don't have the header there, but I do over here. So if you would like to head your paper, because that would be awesome, connecting addition and subtraction. Now we're going to start by putting 10 negatives on our table. So whether you're using reckon rods or the positive negative tiles, please get out 10 negatives. So right now, whether we have that or that and extra zeros, right, positive negative pairs that would make zeros, which if you have reckon rods, you don't have enough to have extra zeros right now. Our task is going to be to figure out and write down, so as I walk around, you should be writing things after you figure them out, different variations of adding or removing whatever you want to end up with negative 4. So I want 4 different ways of adding or removing tiles to get to negative 4. So obviously there's one way that we're all kind of thinking of. If I have negative 10 tiles now and I want to get to negative 4, but I want you to push your creative thinking. How else could I end up with negative 4 tiles? Or as the value of negative 4? Okay, probably just 2 minutes. Probably good with that. Have negative 10, you want to end with negative 4. Starting with negative 10. So that should be the first thing you write down, is negative 10. So the first thing you write down should be negative 10.
The regular one would be
negative 10. Yeah.
Minus 6.
I gotta turn on a little light because otherwise that screen is really bright. The screen is just too bright otherwise. We're going to wake everyone up with some random card action this morning. Dum, dum, dum.
I'm ready. We didn't use that.
Maybe didn't.
Use that one.
Or Mirabelle, can you give me one way to end up with a value of negative 4? Negative 10 minus negative 6, which if we do that on our paper, what did you do? Or not on our paper, we do that with the tiles, what did you do? Yeah, take away 6 of the negatives, which leaves us with just 4 of the negatives. Awesome. Olivia, what's another way you guys did that? So it's the same group, so that's kind of funny. I was debating skipping, so I was like, Olivia, crap, whatever. That's what I was worried about. Okay, so keep thinking, Molly, did your group do it another way? Maeve. Instead of removing negative tiles, you could add in 6 positives and get to negative 4. How else, Savannah?
I took away 5 negatives from negative 10 and then added 1 positive.
Ah, if I take away 5 negatives and then add in 1 positive, that'll make another 0, and that'll get me to negative 4. Bella, give us one more.
Okay, so I just made it. I made it negative 10 minus negative 4. Then which is equal to negative 6 and then minus 2.
Ooh, and then take away 2 positives. Now to do this, no, well, okay. Because I was about to say, to do this, we don't have any positives, right? We can't take away 2 positives, but if we take away 2 more negatives, we took away 4 negatives and we took away 2 more negatives, that gets me to negative 4. We just kind of started out. Zach, we're moving on.
Negative 10 divided by 2 minus 1.
Negative 10, split it into 2 groups and then minus 1. I like it. So first he split his negative tiles into groups, and then he went from there. All right, so if we start with 5 positive tiles and want to find, let's say as many as you can, just rattle them off, to end up with only 2. We start with 5. Now you don't have to actually do this on your desk if you don't want to, but you can if you want to. Look at all those options. We start with 5. We're going to end up with 2. Class, what's the simple way to do this? Minus 3, right? So we all know that, but we don't like subtraction, we said. So we don't want to subtract. We want to do other things. Eric, because I think you might have
plus
an
negative 3.
5, add in 3 negatives. We'll make 3 zeros in that group and end up with 2. Toby, was that what you were also going to say? Bella? Ooh, 5 plus we're going to add in 4 negative tiles, but then add in another positive tile. We'll go 1 more and then move on. Nick?
5 divided by 2. And then plus negative 0.5.
Yeah, but we're trying to work with integers right now, so I'll let it slide. You kind of made it more difficult than we're trying to do. All right, I said we were going to move on, but Morgan, then we'll move on. 5 plus negative 1. And then you said what? Oh, so 5 plus quantity, negative 1 times 3, like that. Perfect.
5 minus 5 plus 2.
Ooh, take away all of them and then add back in 2. That would totally work. So I hope you're starting to buy into what I'm selling. Subtraction isn't great. We would rather add, and if we remember yesterday's rule, who can finish yesterday's rule for me? What is an additive inverse, Zach, since you just threw that word out there? Yeah, it's like an opposite, right? When you add it, you'll make it 0. Kind of. It's like 5 minus 5. Sure, then we can talk additive inverses because add negative 5. added inverse, you wouldn't just define it as saying the opposite of subtraction. Toby?
Come on, man. We all know that you're supposed to put A and then plus negative B.
A plus negative B. But really, instead of saying negative, what word would be better than negative? Because what if this is already negative? Not positive. Because that won't always work. We can't just say A plus positive B. I want to use this symbol, but I don't want to call it negative. It's A plus the opposite of B. Right? So please remember, guys, and this is dangerous because people mess this up every year. It doesn't necessarily turn into plus negative. It's plus the opposite. So if this starts already negative, please jot this on your paper just so we have another example. 7 minus negative 2, it turns into 7 plus the opposite, which is now positive. Questions? Yeah.
What smells like mint?
I'm not sure. Oh, well, there you go. There's your answer. So, here's your challenge. Do you think every subtraction problem can be rewritten as an addition problem? So, work with your team to develop a convincing argument, and we will random card this too. You can use some of these examples if you would like, but your question to discuss and decide on is, can every subtraction problem be rewritten as an addition problem, and does it give the same result? Doesn't take today. Oh! Negative whatever you want, really. You have negative pi. So make sure you're writing down some examples. Sorry, I didn't say that. But write down some examples to support your argument. Barely heavy enough to make it go down. Because you're still small. Write down some examples, guys, to support this. Is he? You could like chat with Araya or move up or whatever, but yeah, an imaginary partner works too. You don't need what's on the screen because you're writing down your own examples. So, before I give you like another moment or two to talk, I'm going to random card and ask you to give me the examples and then results of the subtraction problem that you turned into an addition problem to defend your argument of yes, it always works or no. Okay? So nobody should be surprised in a couple minutes when I start asking, and nobody should say, oh, I don't have anything, because that's what you're doing right now. Okay? Thank you very much. I'm sort of modifying my plan on the fly because I think you'll like this modification and how it impacts tomorrow. But just do your work right now, and then I'll tell you about how we're modifying our plan. Please and thank you. These are examples. You could use these if you want. You can if you want. I froze the screen so it stays there. But so what you're checking is, does it stay the same?
If we did multiplication with like a negative, would like the opposite be like?
You're not multiplying. You're just adding and subtracting.
I know, but like I know the situation.
It's really funny that you just asked about that. So hang on to that question for just a minute, and we'll come back to it.
Okay.
Nick, I'm gonna blame you for the modification though. It's not a bad thing.
What if the class hates it? Then it'll be a bad thing.
But the class won't hate it.
If it's Nick's idea, everyone will hate it.
Yeah.
Writing down examples, not just playing with tiles. Writing down examples that support you. If you haven't done an example that starts with 0, try one of those. What if we start with nothing and subtract? How do we then turn that into addition?
I have negative nothing.
Can't have negative nothing. Because negative is also the opposite of, right? So the opposite of nothing is everything.
So for Richard, I said I have negative nothing.
That doesn't exist. You would get laughed at.
Nothing.
Negative 0 is 0. Negative.
But the idea of a negative number being the opposite then gets broken. Because the opposite of 0, the opposite of nothing, right? So like the opposite of 5 is negative 5. But negative 0 can't happen, right?
Wait.
Exactly.
Since 0 is neither negative nor positive, would it be like the dimensional portal?
Oh, now we're going really deep. Come on.
Dude, 0 is a portal.
All right, so we'll point out the guest that we just got. I think you guys have met Dr. Gupta before, but you guys know that people just hang out at Phoenix and they pop by and they just want to see us teach. So Dr. Gupta has brought us a guest to hang out and see Phoenix. So welcome, guys.
You want to introduce yourself? Wait, you want to
Yeah.
introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Unetta Harper, Miss Harper from the Ohio Department of Education, and I just want to see what great things are happening here.
So if you ever decide to become a teacher, you'll end up involved with people from the ODE. So glad to have you here. So they were talking as teens about whether or not subtraction can always be turned into addition. So, was that Araya? Since you finished my sentence, do you want to go ahead and talk to that?
Okay. In this problem, I said yes, it could always be changed because you can just change it to it's like additive inverse.
Ooh, okay, so give me an example that you wrote.
0 minus negative 4.
0, my pens are mad at me right now. 0 minus negative 4. How'd you change that, man?
I changed it to 0 plus 4.
So, now this is going further than I asked you to go. Can you remember how we would talk about what if I have nothing and I minus negative 4? How do we kind of talk about that?
So basically you just have to make the negative 4 0, and you take the positive 4 and the negative 4, so it can just like cancel each other out and just make it 0.
So we first have to make 0, right? So I have nothing here. This is a stack of nothing, right? My bag of nothing, right? And then Araya said, if we take 4 away, well, my nothing could be easier if I just make it 4 nothings, or, my hand would work this morning. So if I have 4 nothings, and I take away negative 4, now the other way that I was hoping you might say is yesterday we talked about removing debt, right? To remove debt, for me to get rid of a debt, I have to have positive money. And this comes out to be 4, right? If I'm going to remove a debt of 4, I gotta have $4. If I owe somebody money, I gotta pay it back. Perfect. Thank you, Araya. Anyone else want to give an example that they had? Sarah?
So, we said yes because any number can be a negative, is we did negative 0.5 plus 9, and we got 8.5.
And that we could also say is the same thing as, now we don't like this, right? But this could have been the result of saying minus the negative, right? Because it's minus the addition of the opposite, right? Addition of the opposite of the value. Eric, you got something?
I do. So basically, I was like first to guess. My assumption and final conclusion is that yes, to pretty much what everybody else has been saying, all numbers can be replaced with their negative counterparts. And similar to Sarah, I tried like one of the decimal combinations to see like does it like make a difference for decimal. And my example was 9 minus 1.7, and which is the equivalent of 9 plus negative 1.7, when it's just the same. There's like no difference.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Do we all agree that yes, we can always change subtraction into the better addition, but we have to change the value to its opposite? Thank you very much. So now to make sure we're all real confident with these, let's do, I bet you won't even need 5 minutes. So let's do 5 minutes of open time. Solve these. You can grab a calculator if you want, but a lot of these I don't know that you'll need to. Try these with your group. Please write down the original first. Always write down the original first. Discuss this with your partner. Make sure we agree. Or, yeah, I like it. So the negative is negative 15, and the positive is 9, and the negative has more power. He's going to win. So our answer is and then by how much. So we laid down that foundation before we ever got to subtraction. Essentially, we can do the same subtraction. Hey guys, what did we learn yesterday from that video?
Subtraction isn't real.
Yeah, subtraction doesn't really exist, right? So subtraction is really just made up, right? And so is addition.
Everything is made up.
We made all of it, but subtraction is harder, and we want to make it easy. So that's why we're switching everything to addition. We're probably about 20% through our time. How we doing? I'm making these things into addition because it's better. An addition of the opposite. What? Additions, or you didn't know that subtraction's fake? It's all made up?
Oh, no.
Or what, you want to play with the new screen?
No. I don't even know how to use the screen.
This looks like you want something. What do you want?
Yeah.
Okay, do it. You can take over. I'm actually going to be able to get through this lesson and more today.
All right.
What do you
Let's see here. I can't do that. All right, I need to set up a little bit.
Oh, you need like chalkboard? See, you came in while I'm still putting up posters, and now you feel like my room's messy.
I'm a chalkboard guy.
I love the chalkboard, yeah. I will now.
Your tree.
Alright. This dude from the WEC is drawing a number on me.
Okay.
Good job.
What do you
Go help him.
He doesn't seem like he wants my help.
Classroom. I need.
If you ask them, they might be able to tell you.
Well, I would take like a car.
A card?
Yeah, a car.
A car?
Like, do you have like a car? Like a Netflix car.
Not
Car.
really.
A person. How about a person? Figuring of a person.
I got a person. I'm person.
Oh, I can move it over here.
Hey, Toby.
Yeah.
Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot. Here you go. Crash Bandicoot. Just for you.
So, can I like share something that might work? So, I taught middle school, high school math too back in the day, a long time ago. And something that did it for me was.
Oh, yeah.
about stacks and stuff like that. For me, I always like learned on a line, on a line right here of what things look like. So this might help. So I'm not saying do this all the time, but if you have a visual picture of it, it might make sense on why minus, negative, and things like that kind of work the way they do. So take like 5 plus 3, just so you can understand the rules. So 5 means, I'm going to take my guy right here, okay? So 5 means go, since it's positive, 5 means you go forward, right? So I'm going to go forward 5. Okay, I don't have enough, but I go forward 5. Plus means I stay this direction, okay? Plus means I stay this direction, and then I go, how many more? 3. Then I go 3 more, which gets me to 8. Okay, this one, so you can understand rules. Means I start here, I start this direction, I go how many?
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Minus means I switch directions. So I go backwards now. How many?
3.
Okay, I don't go back and flip, but I go 3, which means I go 3 this way. And I end up at 2. You understand the rules? Okay. So now we get 5 minus negative 3. Here's what that means. Which direction? This way, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Minus means flip, right? Okay, and then I go negative 3, which would be which direction? Backwards, right? I'm walking backwards, which gets me to positive 8. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So there's these flips that go on, and then these minuses and forwards, okay? So let's go with one more. Let's go negative 1 minus, negative 1 minus.
So Dr. Gupta, I love how polite my class is being.
Yeah.
Dave already learned this.
Did you really?
Who have we been talking about just like that? Who's our tightrope walker?
Oh,
Cecil. So you have spent, and now you'll know when you go into the classroom now. So CPM has a tightrope walker named Cecil, and we have been doing this for a couple chapters even, and that's why at this point,
You were so excited.
and they're so polite, they're just going to let you keep going. They're like, okay, yeah.
That's what did it for me. That's what did it for me back in the day to understand. Now, I don't always do that and get things out there, but now I understand why a minus and a negative work the way that they do. Keep that up.
Now let's see if we can blow Dr. Gupta's mind. What have we talked about with distance and positive and negative numbers? Anyone want to tell Dr. Gupta what we said about distance with positives and negatives? Morgan? Yeah, go 2 different ways. What else? What do we say distance can't? Yeah, distance can't be negative. What? But if we say go negative 3,
You can't go backwards. Like you can't. Let's say you want to go 5 feet. You're starting at point A. You can't go. You can't say go back to where you started 3 feet ago. You can't. You can't go backwards.
you can't undo it, right? In real life, there's no undo button. So with distance, and this is, you guys haven't mastered this yet, so it's okay if you don't know it, but with distance, what symbol do we use to make sure everything comes out positive?
Oh, I don't know what they're called.
It's right there, it's right there.
They're the little values.
Yeah, absolute value. So, if we're talking number line problems like this, we can wrap things in that absolute value, right? So at the end, we know how far we totally traveled, and it comes out positive. All right, so back to this, reinforcing our rule that subtraction, we don't really like it. We turn it into the addition of the negative. I told you guys we were going to random card this too. Lydia is not here today. I'm sorry. Lydia, if you're watching the video at home, please feel better. Or if you're having a fun day, enjoy it. I guess come back to us tomorrow. Lily, what did you guys get for A and how did you solve it?
Well, I made negative 3.86 into a positive.
So you said make negative 3.86 into a positive. So you did this?
But you have to add.
Oh, but you didn't say that the first time. So we turned the subtraction into addition, and then we were able to make it positive. Okay, then what?
Then you add them.
And now that we're adding, how do we think about addition? Can you tell Dr. Gupta what we've talked about with addition and positive, negatives? Good guys and bad guys. Who wins here? The bad guy. How much stronger is the bad guy? 97 stronger. Right? So our answer becomes negative. He's stronger by 97. Thank you very much, Lily. Nick, what about me?
Oh.
Sorry, Zach, didn't mean to scare you. Nick, what about B?
The 21.
What do you do? This is the problem. You're doing a lot of head nodding.
Oh, so 21. Minus -7.
Okay.
Pretty much just like minus.
Nick's face is wonderful right now. I wish you could all see it.
84. Wait. Oh.
Do you want to pass it off and we come back to you? We'll throw it over here, Meredith.
Oh, well, don't the two negatives like become a positive?
Yeah, because if we switch the subtraction into addition, we also have to switch that to the opposite, which isn't always negative, right? Like we talked about a couple slides ago. It's the opposite of the second value, and this comes out to be 28. Morgan, what about C? Hi. If we want to change the subtraction to not be subtraction, what do we do? Yeah. I like your, we reverse the thing, we make it its opposite. Did I do that right? Ooh, wait, I gotta wait.
You did it wrong.
Ooh.
You forgot to put the negative.
Ooh. Hold. One at a time. All right.
You forgot to put the negative on the thing.
Because this is positive, right? Even though there's this in front of it, it's minus positive 6. So to make this the opposite, it's plus negative 6. Do we have good guys, bad guys, or same team? Same team, both bad guys. And they team up, and this becomes 30 bad guy power. Right? A negative 24 and, addition is and, a negative 6. We got a lot of bad there. We're going to need to get Tony Stark or somebody over here. That was the one person I shouldn't have said.
He's not dead
Okay,
yet.
can we take a moment just to appreciate the Spider-Man and
The Marvel and the Sony thing.
it was so sad. Okay, D, we're getting a little tougher here. Eric, you ready?
Yeah, I think so. All right. So, because the subtraction is a non-existent force of evil, we have to convert that to, we have to take negative 4 nines.
I agree. I just don't like how red is looking there. Negative 4 9s, you said.
And then you put plus,
You put plus.
parentheses, negative 3 9.
We got a lot of chatter, guys.
And
Please respect Eric.
And that would be, unless I'm mistaken, negative 7 over 9.
You are not mistaken, sir. It is negative 7 over 9. They are same team, both bad guys. Ooh, I forgot.
Yeah, remember? Like,
Any questions on D?
no.
Because they had common denominators. It worked out well, right? All right, so for E, I'll write my original first, especially because, yeah, we like how that looks. Callie, help me with this. Wait, was it you yesterday that was really frustrated when I was having you guys do this?
No, I think it was.
Was that late? I forget who it was. Somebody was like, why do we have to, like, I just know it. You just know what it, oh yeah, it was Savannah. She was getting really frustrated. Dang. Maybe it was the afternoon class. I might be remembering wrong. Sorry. Go ahead, Callie. What do we do here to make this addition? You will pass Bella. How do we make this addition?
Okay, so it's 0 plus negative 1.12.
And then, well, all we have is a negative 1.12. And to wrap it up and bring us home, what happens here?
Positive 37.
Yeah, plus a positive, right? Plus a positive. This becomes a positive 37 and 1/4, which I'm going to write as a decimal. Thank you very much. Because they showed up and we did not move as fast, we did not get to the modification of the plan. So I was going to keep going and we were going to start the next lesson. People just randomly come by.
I think they like you.
I hope most people like me. I try. So, what we're going to dive into next time I see you, which I don't know exactly when that is or who's going to teach math or how that's going to work tomorrow, but we'll tell you in the morning, is multiplication as repeated subtraction. I mean, that could be an option. Do you have AO today? It's Thursday. Talk with me at AO. Talk with me at AO.
Okay.
I'm as serious as a heart attack.
I'll be big brain tomorrow.
Are we? We're ahead of time, by the way, guys. Give it a couple minutes for us to leave. Oh, we need to pack up our resources anyways. Please pack up your resources. Bring them up.
What should I be for Halloween candy?
I thought you said you were being mean, but I'm really just like a taller version of you guys. And I do my hair, but...
Wait, all I gotta do is get the Worthington shirt and wear those glasses that I use for my nerdy and then I'm done.
I mean, I have other Worthington shirts that are clean at home.
50 seconds. 51 seconds.
I feel really proud of myself because yesterday I created a model on paper. They're actually in Blender as to explain the whole thing.
It was switching subtraction into
Subtraction.
nice.
So I put up two of the plus and minus. And, so
While you set that up, hold on. Lily, what do you need?
Still recording.
Oh, wait, right.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.